talking about your whole career, you've majorly focused on acting. Like you have a two whole decades of majorly we've seen you on screen and not behind the screen. So is there any particular moment that you had in mind, that now thinking of this, I just have to get into direction. This has, like you mentioned, this has been something from long time that you've been thinking. But that moment that made you make final that decision, like right now I have to get behind the camera and get in action. Is there any particular
Honestly,
moment?
Sunaina, it's not about a particular moment. When you're taking a decision as big as this,
Yeah.
because it is a big decision. It's not
Yeah.
just about you being behind the camera. It's
Yeah.
about carrying the responsibility of so many people, their trust, their faith, their hard work on you.
Yeah.
So it's not like just waking up one morning and saying, okay. And that's what my fear was throughout. That, I can direct, but I better know what I'm doing when I get down to doing it.
Yeah.
And this time around, because we had so much time, all of us had a lot of time.
Yeah.
And there was this, there was larger than life looming issue, which all of us were battling, are still battling. And it was just so in my face. And then I started writing it, and it just became like, it was just a flow of events. It wasn't that one particular moment where I said, no, I have to do this. When I wrote it and I said, okay, maybe, and I got a point of view from a couple of people, and they were mixed reactions. They said, yeah, it's nice, it's whatever. And I said, 1 second, I can either shelve this or I can make it because I believe in it. And I decided to make it.
Your film revolves around this topic of COVID. So how did you get inspiration? What thought germinalized in you that you finalized this? And what can the viewers expect from the film?
First, yes, the story is placed in this time, but it's not just about COVID. It's a far bigger thing that bothers and troubles all of us.
Yeah.
Like I thought the biggest, if I had to explain the film to you in one line, and that is exactly the thought of that film, is that if the disease doesn't kill you, the distance will. And the isolation is so overbearing.
Yeah, it is.
And that is what this was about. So COVID highlighted it, but, this is a situation a lot of people battle.
Yeah.
Even being, and everyone does on their own level, So that's where it came from. That is exactly the line of the film. That is exactly the thought of this. It's just like, you'll stay safe and you'll be isolated and you'll keep away from people and social distancing and all that. And then you're lonely as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, I miss doing this interview face to face. I miss it.
Yeah.
I miss human contact.
Yeah.
I miss seeing the people I love, just hugging them and being with them in the same room without having to worry, how irresponsible could that be? But I genuinely miss that.
Yeah, true. We've always seen you in front of the camera whenever it's for different roles. Well, Dil Dhadakne is one of your most top famous roles that we recollect right now. How different was it writing and then directing the movie also? How challenging, how different was the role as compared to acting? How did you feel? Was it difficult? Did you feel it was much easier? How different was it as a task from acting? Because acting is something
it's completely different. 1. 2 is, directing is not an easy job. So whoever thinks a director lands up on set and just does something, it doesn't work like that. Thirdly, I have been writing for a very long time.
Okay.
I've always been writing. Whether it's a poetry or stories, or I've written a couple of scripts and whatever. So that didn't happen overnight. And, as an actor, I can just go on the set, go onto a set and do my job and get out. But that is not what a director does. The director is it's like having a baby. You have to go through that entire gamut.
Yeah.
It's exactly from conception to actually having that baby out in the world.
Yeah.
So it's a huge responsibility, and it's a lot of work. And I mean, yeah, it's not easy. So direction and acting are completely different things. Completely different things.
You've acted in this film also. So how was the how was the decision making? How was it? How challenging was it to come in front of the camera, then take responsibilities behind the camera also? Because whenever you are acting, you're just in front of the camera and just you do your scenes and you're done. But in this film, you had to be in front of the camera, do your scenes, and then get back behind the camera and just keep everything is in proper. So how challenging was getting front and getting back of the camera?
Well, you know, one of the challenging things that I had to do was because even when I'm acting, I never ever see the Shogun or the monitor.
Okay.
I never see my take.
Yeah.
I just don't. So over here, I had no option but to see the take.
Yeah.
You know, I just never see it because I know there is a director. I know there is a DOP. They know their job far better than I do. So
Yeah.
I don't find the need to go and see a take.
Exactly.
But over here, I had to see it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you know, it's like, yes, there is a name of an actor or a director that goes in, and a lot of the credit goes to them. But the best part of, actually, the beauty of it is getting the right people.
True.
Because if the film doesn't work, nothing will.
Sure.
It's not a director's showreel, and neither is it an actor's showreel, and it can't be. Because the moment it becomes that, you've lost the purpose of making the film.
Yeah.
Like a film is never any one individual person's showreel. You know, people tend to get a little, everyone tends to get like, main apna sab dikha dunga. It doesn't work like that. It's about making sure that everyone's on the same page, working towards the same focus. And the fact is, I mean, that is me. I wouldn't do something where I wasn't passionately involved in it. That goes even with my acting. I've never just gone and done a role because I wanted to go to work. And the same went with this. And I had people who were passionately involved in it, who really loved it, who wanted it to happen.
Okay.
You know, so it was, as far as, but the thing is that there was a lot of prep that went into it. A lot of prep. And probably it's, like Vipul says, like, who preps for a short film so much? But I said, look, we have only 2 days. We have a very confined location. We have one actor who incidentally is your director. So we have to put it together. Like once I go on floor, I don't have the time to, of course you breathe, you know, grow from there, but you have to have your base solid.
Yeah. True.
Every line, every word has been revisited in various drafts because you want to make sure that, look, this is the time. There's, you know, you don't have the luxury of a 3-hour film.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
You have a very short span. You have to tell the whole story.
You have to say everything. And at the same time, this film is a very, very silent kind of a film. I mean, there are dialogues, but it's just the whole therav of it, the whole feel of it. It's about that isolation and being stuck in a bubble. Okay. So, you know, it was that. I mean, one of the best compliments I got was that we didn't know there was a director on set, which is great. And you trust them. When you know somebody's doing their job right, why do you want to interfere into it? I mean, you've understood it, you've explained it, you've discussed it, you've made presentations, you've seen it, how it's going to look like. And then you just have to trust people to, yes, Annie?
I would have asked you to the cupboard to send it to office to get it renewed because it's expired.
The key is in my cupboard. Yeah, sorry, that was my son.
So talking about the film, as a directorial debut, when you made a decision that you have to now direct a film, as you mentioned that you had a lot of prep going into it. Were you nervous? Were you excited? Because I'm sure a lot of prep means because you didn't want the first thing. Everyone wants the first direction. The first any project that they do has to be up to mark. So any benchmark did you create or something? How excited? How nervous? Any challenges did you face when you made decisions or as you went through the process of direction in the film?
Well, I just, one second. Sima, move from that door. You're going to get hurt, honey. Honey, if he opens the door, you're going to get hurt. as far as the challenges are concerned, of course, I mean, as a director, there are challenges, and every day is a new challenge. You know, you suddenly realize, okay, also as a director, there is a very, very big part of being a director is the responsibility of respecting your budget, respecting your logistics. Creatively, you could want the world, but you have to keep in mind that, listen, this is the time span I am going to deliver without compromising on it creatively. So all of that, the scripting sessions, the brainstorming sessions, great fun. I kept almost every 4 days, I would say, I don't think I should make this film. It was almost that. But surprisingly, and I get very, very anxious and nervous a day before shoot. I mean, even as an actor, like Spielberg once said, the most difficult part of directing is getting out of the car on the day of the shoot. You know, it's the same way. I mean, for me, it's even as an actor. Like, I am paranoid when I am shooting. I'm just so restless and uneasy and nauseous and just... But surprisingly, this time I wasn't. I think maybe because the prep was done so well. I had the team I wanted. And we were in a, you know, in a confined space. We had a team of only 6 or 7 people.
Okay.
Honey, the child is crying. Huh. So, you know, it was all of that. So it was actually, I mean, I thought I would be freaking out on the day of the shoot, but I wasn't. I really wasn't. I was very calm. The only time you heard people in that room were when they were laughing. But otherwise, I mean, it was great. The post is, I find it tedious, particularly because of the situation that is right now, and you can't sit with the editor, or you can't sit with the sound designer, or you know, for the DI personally. And then you're doing this every time you make a change, it comes back to you on a mail. You see it, then you send another change, and it's just a half an hour process gets delayed over 3 days. But so I really miss just being there personally. It's so much easier to explain, to talk about it and stuff. So that is a tedious process. And then there is, you know, aaj ye hua, aaj ye delay ho gaya, aaj ye delay ho gaya. So you're constantly waiting for, like, your deadlines keep moving.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you set a deadline that on this day, I want my final copy. And then suddenly you figure, oh, something happened in the studio, so we can't get the final copy.
Yeah.
So it's all of that. But the shoot was great fun. I mean, it went just like, I blinked my eyes and it just got over. I was like, yeah, that's it. I mean, that's really it.
Yeah.
But preparing for it, the creative process is really something.
Did you take any tips from any directors, being this your first project, or were you just clear mind ki aage jaisa hoga dekha jayega?
No, not creatively as much. I mean, of course, I gave the script to Vipul. I gave it to Rishi. These are people I respect tremendously.
Yeah.
So I gave them what I wanted, a point of view on it. But what I have learned from Vipul over years, what I've seen in him, in fact, that was the reason I fell in love with this man, is that he's one of the calmest people on set. 1. 2 is, he is, I mean, he's a producer now himself, but even otherwise, even when he began, he's a producer's director. So without compromising creatively, he will respect the logistical formatting of the film.
Okay.
You know, creatively as a director, you can really go overboard and say, I want this, and I want a chopper, and I want a drone, and I want whatever.
Yeah.
You got to realize that 1 minute, it doesn't work like that. Or I want 1 more extra day of shoot. But every film has a different logistics. Every film has a different format. Every film has a different requirement.
Yeah.
And you have to understand that and respect that. You have to respect that. And one of the biggest things that is my learning is, which I know, I mean, I've seen him, but you know what, is as a director to find solutions. It's your job to find solutions and make it happen. It's very easy to say, अब ये मुझे ये panther नहीं मिल रहा है तो मैं ये shoot नहीं कर सकता. No, you find a solution without compromising creatively.
Yeah. Talking about the
the way I work is you know, when my ADs are with me, or my associate is with me, or my DOP is with me, I work on interaction. I work on give and take. So my word is not the final word. I will listen to you all. Yes, I will decide whether it fits in the larger picture, but I want to know what people think. I want to get their point of view, their opinions, their suggestions.
Yeah. Talking about the lockdown, initially when the lockdown and the pandemic had come, and still the pandemic is there, but the lockdown had impacted a lot of lifestyles with jobs being shut, working from home. How was the lifestyle change for you, impacting, since you've been a busy person and then coming into working from home? How different was the lifestyle change for you once the lockdown started initially?
Honestly, Sunaina, it wasn't, because I don't work 365 days a year. I just do what I love to do. I go do a project and I disappear. And I just vanish into my own house. So that is the way it is. So it didn't really make a dramatic difference in terms of I didn't go into depression that I wasn't working. Or, I wasn't like, oh my God, now I'm stuck at home. Because Vipul, my kids, we were all together. They were safe, which was paramount. It put us into a space where we had no option but to spend time with each other.
Yeah.
And we would look forward to that time when in the evening we would sit on the deck and chat for like 2-3 hours and whatever. So it didn't, in terms of my work, it didn't bother me at all. In fact, there was a lot of work to do. I mean, the staff wasn't coming and you have to take care of the entire house. It runs the way it runs.
Yeah.
So all of that. But I also realized, this whole thing that went on about spending time, quality time with your family. And see, all this vacation lasts for a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
After a point of time, it's not a holiday anymore.
Yeah.
I constantly kept thinking that what happens to people who are in joint families, in smaller apartments? I mean, I can't even imagine, by the end of it, people would want to kill each other.
True.
It's like you're breathing down each other's neck.
Yeah.
And in our house, we all give each other a lot of space. Which stayed. It wasn't suddenly like, oh my God, now we are all huddled together 24 hours. It can't work like that.
Yeah.
It can't work like that. So it was, we were together. They were safe. We were all in one house. I could see them, my children, because they were in Spain. And just a day before Spain announced their national lockdown, we flew them in. And then they were in quarantine for 14 days, complete quarantine. Like they were locked inside their room and the food used to be kept outside, like jail ke bahar khana rakhte hain waise. I mean, in fact, I had given them their own dishes and I had given them the dishwashing soap and said, please wash your dishes and keep them, stuff like that. And then I used to write notes to them, which they didn't find funny from any angle. Once I left a snakes and ladder game box outside and they were like, Mom, how old do you think we are? Stuff like that. Yeah. But it wasn't, work-wise, it wasn't difficult. Yes, the entire responsibility of the house comes on you. And, time and time again, people said, कि तुमको रोज करने की जरूरत नहीं है. But then that's me. I found the need to do it. Meanwhile, I enjoy cooking and I did start cooking regularly because I had to, but I really enjoyed it. So, I used to listen to my music and cook and have, a glass of wine or a beer. And I started shooting those videos and sharing them. And then it became more, it wasn't about my recipe or cooking. It was just about a personal interaction. It was like talking to somebody, talking to a friend. That's how it happened. So it was, and I was, of course, reading. But honestly, during this time, we didn't have the time to read because the entire house load came onto ourselves. So it was really like.
What was a normal day like during the lockdown? What, like, you used to get up late or just chill out and just
no, you don't get up late. There is no option of not waking up. I mean, like, you can't wake up late.
They had a very changed sleep schedule because of the lockdown. Because now you don't have to go to work. So the whole sleep schedule of a lot of people got changed. So now they used to sleep late and then get up late.
No, that didn't happen. In fact, I am an insomniac, so I can stay awake. Sorry, 1 second. Are you going somewhere?
Yeah, some work.
What work?
Shoot.
What? What? Hello, talk to me. See, child has just walked away. Also, at that point of time, we got 2 little puppies.
Oh, okay. Oh.
So I was in mother mode again of susu, potty, feeding, baby crying, baby needs hugging, baby's done susu again, just exactly when you've cleaned up. So I didn't have the luxury. Actually, I mean, I stay awake all night and I wake up, like, I sleep for a couple of hours in the morning. But I didn't have that luxury. And 10:30, I used to be dead. Like, people would be like, you are ready to pass out? So I was so exhausted. So it was just wake up, you do the jhadu pocha, then you do the laundry, then you do the cooking, then after lunch you do the clearing and cleaning the utensils, and it was like that. It was just like that. And of course, I mean, I was reading and stuff, but it actually did change my schedule crazy.
Yeah.
Because all that leisure time went right out of the window.
Talking about your film Dil Dhadakne Do, which was a really appreciated, really loved film. Still today, people watch the film, they remember characters, they remember lines from the film. You always hear news of there's going to be a sequel of Dil Dhadakne Do. So can we see the Mehra family once again on screen?
That's the news you are giving me. So
because there's always
I have
news that there's
absolutely no clue about this. I have absolutely no clue about this.
Would you like
absolutely. I'm hearing it for the first time.
There be a sequel for Dil Dhadakne Do and reuniting with the whole cast once again?
Sorry.
Would you like to have a sequel of the movie Dil Dhadakne Do and reunite with the whole cast once again?
Well, it would be great. I mean, all these guys are brilliant to work with. And I'd love to work with Zoe again and Ritesh and all the actors. But, I mean, that's only a call that the director takes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Talking about your Delhi Crime, the series, which was something really appreciated, really lauded. Still people, personally, my father actually really liked it. Me and my father watched it in one go. It was so good. We just couldn't shift from anything else. You had to watch it and you were at the edge of the series watching each and every scene. Tell us something about it. How changing was that whole experience? What kind of reviews did you get? How exhausting, how triggering was it? Because I know it must not be easy to shoot such a series. Tell us something about it, because it's really...
It is one of the most consuming and most enriching experiences of my life. I mean, I cannot begin to tell you how lucky I feel that I could be a part of this. It's easily been, work-wise and emotionally, one of the most draining, most consuming. It took everything out of me. Yeah. And it enriched me to another level. So, I mean, it's the favorite thing I've done. Like, somebody was just asking me that which is that one character you cannot, or you feel extremely close to. And I said, Vartika, I can't cut the umbilical cord. I probably never will be able to.
Yeah.
So it was, and emotionally, it was extremely draining. Yeah. And there is a responsibility when you're doing something about a true life case. You have to maintain that very thin line of fiction and reality where you do not hurt the people who've already gone through a lot of pain. And it was just, and I mean, the topic is something that scarred us for life. All of us. Yeah. So it was just all of it together. I mean, it was challenging is an understatement.
True.
Because like I'm telling you, it changed, you work for years and then there is something that comes up which changes your complete directive as a work-related directive. This has been my turning point as an actor. When I look back, I say, oh my God, why didn't I do this kind of work on my scripts before? Why didn't I, how have I even been working? This is the way it's supposed to be done. So yeah, it's been, I mean, one of the most enriching and consuming and draining and exhausting experiences of my life, and I would do it all over again.
Yeah, truly, I think not just you, but for others, viewers also, like I have friends and colleagues, all of them just loved you in the role. It was such a kind of a different, scenario, seeing you in such a different character, such a different roles, and with the team, the actors, your co-actors, all of them acted really brilliantly.
Oh, the actors were brilliant. Each
Yeah.
and every single actor.
Yeah, all that.
Brilliant actors. And the director, of course. I mean, he's
Ma'am,
just something else.
I'm talking about the same thing, the same around the same topic. The same incident has happened yet again in our country with the Hathras sexual assault case in UP. Uh, I mean, you've been something, not exactly a part of it, but you've been a small part of it by acting in the film, acting in the series, as we mentioned, as we were talking about. What do you think do you think there's a change coming, or do you think even after so many years, the same thing has been repeating again and there's been no change, even after getting helpline numbers, getting fast track codes? Do you feel a change is coming, or there's no change at all? What do you think about the whole scenario?
I think there needs to be drastic change in this one. And yes, everyone's working towards making it, protecting women and or getting the fast track justice, but it's not fast enough.
Yeah.
And until we don't make it fast enough, it's not going to set an example. It's not going to stop them in their tracks. It's not something they will say, oh my God, don't even think of doing this. Otherwise, you'll be like, you're gone.
Yeah.
And also, which I kept saying even before, that it's not just about, I don't even understand what kind of people are these. Are they even humans? Even animals don't do this. I don't understand. I just don't understand this whole. This is some different mindset. It's demonic. But even as a parent, which I kept saying, which I believe, irrespective of what these cases, and the cases are not stopping. It's every day. But there is something that I very strongly believe, which I've said repeatedly right from the beginning, that our daughters will be safe if our sons are raised right.
True. That is really true.
Which is true.
Yeah.
And it comes from small things. Of course, everyone tells their kid, don't you ever raise your hand, or don't you be violent or whatever. But it comes from very small things. It comes from a simple thing as picking up your plate when you finish dinner.
Yeah.
It's not just the woman who's going to do it.
Yeah.
So, but on the justice level, it has to just be fast track. Fast track, matlab like super fast track.
Yeah.
Because until there isn't a fear of the kind of punishment you're going to go through it. I don't even, somewhere people who do these crimes think they'll get away with it.
Yeah. I think thinking of the fact, because Nirbhaya's convicts, they also got the decision really late. So I think people have lost trust on this, and it's just getting worse, because according to recent studies, whatever charge that we follow, there has been more cases even after Nirbhaya's whole tragedy happened. So I think people have first of all lost trust, and then I don't know, it's just not people just think it's not a safer place for girls right now in this country, with a lot of this repeatedly happening again and again. Actually, there are a lot of things been happening, but this is the most, I think, the most tragic. I think the most people have been just, the reactions people have been going through are just, people just don't, as you said, people just don't understand what kind of humans are they that going through all of this.
Exactly. It's just, and it's so sad. It's just so sad that you can't walk out of your house without you can't walk out of your house not knowing whether you'll come back home in the night. And it's like breaking a person up completely.
And the family.
It's just not just physically, just emotionally. You've destroyed a family. You've destroyed a life. Even if, and it's not like it just happens in India. It happens world over.
Yeah.
But, well, this is our responsibility. And the more stringent, the more stronger the laws are. And the faster you give punishments or, you know, put an end to something like this. Until then, no one's going to really, they're just going to think we can get away with it.
Yeah,
which is terrible.
So last question, ma'am. What are your next projects just after the release of the directorial debut? What are your next project? Anything else do you plan to directing, or are you getting into acting once again? Anything have you thought?
Well, I am going to do a show, which again, I mean, they'll release the statement. I am mostly going to do 2 or 3 films, which great scripts, brilliant roles. But everything is up in the air because of the situation. The one thing that I'm doing right now is I'm working on the post of my last film, and I'm working on the pre of my next short, which I'm shooting like 10 days from now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
That's really like pro few then. Practicing more and behind camera, in front of the camera as well. Your CCTV project. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. That's all. Thank you so much for the interview.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sunaina. Bye. Take care.